Mm.
I don't give a fuck. Talking big shit, but he ain't big enough. Nigga acting like he's sick, but he ain't sick enough. Anybody call a hit him, we gon' hit him up. Cause I don't give a fuck. Talking big shit, but he ain't big enough. Nigga acting
What up,
like
Raider
he's sick,
Nation?
but he ain't sick enough. Anybody call a hit him, we gon' hit him up.
It's cracking.
When I'm back on the scene, ho, keep your pussy in your pants and method MC, no. Call Mr. Hammer time, I got hammer and Pico. Mama gets so wet at the water bottle speedboat. Shot call, I pull the string to let my shoulders go. Now I ain't talking Compton, bitch, I'm talking out of football, though. 100 got me running through them Cougars. Shitting on them like I took the Browns to the Super Bowl. Selling queen for niggas, want you, we at your door.
We at the door.
Flock, 2 minutes top, that's the grab and
That's
go.
the give and go. Raider Nation, Raider Nation, Raider Nation, Raider motherfucking nation. What that shit do, man? You already know what it is, man. It's your homeboy, man, the sports man. It's Raider Gang TV, where you gotta be a fucking G, man. And I got a guest today that I'm gonna bring in. My guy, the Joe Morley. Y'all know who he is. We don't always have the same views, but I fuck with him. He funny as fuck. And I like what he do, man. We got a mutual respect for each other. But we're gonna start this shit off, man, how we always do. And that's what the sponsors of the show. The sponsors of the show it's Drippy Whips, y'all. I keep telling y'all over and over again, you need a car. I don't want to see none of you motherfuckers pulling up in no 2024 anything and you paid $1 million for the motherfucker. Tap in with me. I got the wholesale. I'm the CEO, man. I got y'all. Fuck with me. Whatever you want. 2024, 2005, 1998, whatever the fuck you can afford. Drippy Whips got you, man. I'm the motherfucking CEO, and this is what it is, man. So we're going to go ahead and get straight into this shit, Raider Nation. We're going to get straight into this shit, man. The Geno Smith trade. Now, we traded Geno Smith for a 3rd round pick. When I first heard the news, Raider Nation, y'all got to understand where I'm coming from now. It's been a bumpy ride, right? It's been a bumpy fucking ride, up and down, side to side, and we ain't hitting switches, but it's been a bumpy fucking ride, right? So that Friday morning, I leave my house, I take my boy to school. Y'all gonna be seeing him real soon. Right tackle, right guard, Julius Fiatongaluia, 6'5", 350. He over at Centennial now. He at Centennial Corona right now. And took him there, taking him to school, and I get a fucking flat tire, man. I get a flat tire on the 91 fucking freeway, man. Coming over the bridge, y'all. So my day is already starting up fucked up. I had to drive my car on a flat tire all the way to the fucking tire shop. I was fucking mad as fuck. And of course, I had AAA, but the car I got that I'm selling, this shit is so small you can't even fucking tow it. So I had to drive that bitch on a flat tire all the way to the fucking tire shop, crack my fucking rim. So I had to pay for a brand new tire, $100. Had to fucking pay to weld my rim, $75. And then I fucking do a video saying that I feel like the Raiders might be getting desperate because I feel like these free agent quarterbacks are gonna move real quick. I literally said that. I post a video saying that if we don't get these guys, we're gonna have to trade for Kyler Murray or, God forbid, Geno Smith. Literally said this shit, right? I get my tire fixed. I fucking make it home. Pull up my phone. Geno Smith traded to the Raiders for a 3rd round pick. I'm like, are you out of your motherfucking mind? Are you out of your fucking mind? So understand my initial reaction is, what the fuck is this? I'm expecting some kind of greatness, right? I know Aaron Rodgers is over the hill. I ain't trying to act like he the old Aaron. I ain't trying to act like Russell Wilson, the old Russell. But to hear Geno Smith name be called, y'all gotta understand, man. Look, my relationship with Geno Smith, not that I got one, but you know what I'm talking about. I like Geno Smith at West Virginia. When he was there with Tavon Austin, I was like, I like Geno. I like Geno Smith. He got to the NFL, fucking trash. Fucking trash. Pure trash, compactor. And he had his chances. Over the years, he's had his opportunities. He couldn't fucking embrace them. He couldn't get anywhere on these chances he was taking, right? And then he gets to Pete Carroll. Now, I'm going to say in year 2022, like no one cared he was with Pete Carroll before 2022. Let's just be real with that. Because, matter of fact, hold up. I think I got something written down right here. I know in like 2021, I think he was there, or 2020. No one gave a fuck. He didn't do shit. He's just a backup like he always been. This motherfucker was backing up Drew Lock. I mean, come on, Raider Nation. They try to give the fucking job to Drew Lock over Geno Smith. I'm just trying to put this shit in perspective. But then in 2022, I seen when that's the year when the Raiders blew all them damn double-digit leads. and Josh Jacobs beat the Seahawks. We beat the Seahawks in overtime, and of course Geno was Geno. He had a decent game, but of course he threw some picks, and that's the reason we was even in the game. Derek Carr had a good game. It was a good game, but that season I was like, what the fuck got into Geno Smith? Because he was fucking look. You are who the fuck you've always been, but if you have a different trajectory, if you do things differently, I always give credit where credit's due, no matter what. So when I seen him in 22, I'm like, what the fuck's going on with Geno Smith? This motherfucker threw for 30 touchdowns, 11 picks. Best he's ever had in his career. Out of nowhere. Out of fucking nowhere. And I had to give him respect for that. And I said, man, he can't do that shit again. 2023, he threw for 3,600, 24 yards, 20 TDs, 9 picks. It ain't great, but when you're talking about Geno Smith, this is still like unheard of. So we like, this is crazy. So when I seen him in 2024, 4,000 yards, 4,300 yards, 21 TDs, 15 picks. That doesn't excite me now. But what it does, it shows that he put up some numbers. He's been best. He's been his best under Pete Carroll. But last year he wasn't under Pete Carroll, so maybe that's why he slipped off a little bit, Raider Nation. But I was real pissed off. I was real because I was expecting something different. But now that I wake up the next morning, I realize my initial reaction is always going to be raw. You know that. But the reality of the situation is it keeps AOC on the fucking bench and it keeps his name out of y'all fucking mouth because I am so sick of hearing about Aiden O'Fucking-Connell. I'm sick of this shit. I'm fucking sick of hearing it. And the games that we lost last year with trash ass Minshew, trash ass AOC. If we can get 2022 Geno, that's what we hoping we get. We can get that Geno. Who knows, right? Anything can happen. But that was just my initial reaction. And then I'm also looking at they're talking about he's going to probably get at least a 3-year deal. I'm not crazy about that. I'd like to keep him on a 1-year deal. And if he ball out this season, I'd happily give him a contract. But to give him a 2, 3, 4, 5-year contract right now would have me go on a crazy rant again, y'all. But without further ado, I got my guy right here, the Joe Morley. We're gonna talk about this situation because when I seen him post about this shit, oh man, he was so goddamn happy. I said, what? He was like, he's a top 10 guy. He can be a top 10 to top 12. I'm like, I get it. He always takes the positive side. I mean, even he was trying to find the positive side in Aiden O'Connell and trash ass Minshew. But me, y'all know I'm bringing that raw, uncut. I don't give a fuck like the song. But here go my guy, man. It's my man Joe Morley, man. It's the Joe Morley. What's cracking with you, my guy?
What's going on now? Hey, we got a quarterback. We got a quarterback in Las Vegas. You already know that.
True. I mean, when you compare it to the landscape to what we already had, I mean, you really can't be mad. I mean, it's not like we gave up a first-round pick or a second-round pick, but a third round, I mean, I feel like we could have got him for a fourth. They ain't want to fucking pay him anyways. But it is what it is. I ain't even gonna go there, man. But what was your initial reaction when you heard this news? Besides what you posted, I want to because me and you, we had a similar reaction to the Brock Bowers draft. We was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? So I want to know what was your initial reaction before you went to social media?
Well, it's because like this whole offseason has been weird, right? We knew they had addressed the quarterback position. When I saw the initial trade, I was like, Geno Smith, okay, what do we give up for Geno Smith? And I agree with you. Maybe a third round pick is a little too high for Geno Smith, especially when we got to give him a new contract. He's going to want more money. But when I look at it and I look at how many draft picks we still have, we still got what 9 more draft picks that we could play with this year. And basically, we're giving up a third round draft pick that we got for Devontae Adams last year, which looked to be a steal last year. So Devontae Adams for Geno Smith, and you look at the whole picture, I like it. And then when I started to break it down, like I was like, because I ain't gonna lie, I've talked my crap about Geno Smith in the past, and I've seen it. There's some parts of his game that I'm not happy with, but then there's also where he stepped up big time. Like the game that I would tell Raider fans to go and watch, that one that impressed me a lot last year because I was talking a lot of crap going into it, is the second 49er game last year and how he played in the fourth quarter of that game. There was some big time stuff, and there was a part where I was calling Geno Smith out last year for his toughness because I think the Niners if you watch the 4 games, just go back and watch the 4 Niner games, the last 2 seasons.
Right.
just those 3 games before the last one, before the one I just mentioned, it looked like he was scared. Like, and Geno Smith gets scared. Like he's coming at him. And I think there was one point. There's another game where Aaron Donald's coming at him, and he goes, "Oh shit," or something like that. Like
Yeah, I
there's
remember
that.
that.
But when you actually look at Geno Smith's game and you compare him to what we've had in Las Vegas, huge upgrade, huge freaking upgrade
Right.
for it.
Right, and that's why it's got to get put in context because because we got to be 100 right now. Last year, if they was to say with Antonio Pierce, they'll say, "Hey, the Raiders are thinking about trading for Geno Smith." We would have fucking lost our mind. Be 100. We would have been like,
Yeah.
"You fucking out of your mind? Fuck you, fucking Mark Davis. We gonna fucking send Anthrax to the stadium." We would have fucking lost it.
Yep.
But it's the fact that he's here with Pete Carroll and he's played his best with Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's brought the best out of him, right? Because when I look at these guys, this situation kind of reminds me of the handoff Jimmy situation. Because I feel like our bar is so fucking low, right? Like I try to tell people who Jimmy was, and people say he's a winner. He's a winner. I said, look, man, winning is a team stat. I want to know what did you do? What did you do specifically in those games, right? That's why I'm like, wasn't too crazy about this shit. But when I start to break this shit down, and I'm like, okay, well, he has gotten better. He has improved. He has put up some numbers. And like I said, you always got to give credit where credit is due, no matter what. No matter how much you dislike a player or even a fucking team. But I give him his props for what he's done. But like I said, it's always got to be in context. Like I said, because if we brought this shit up last year, we lose our fucking mind. But when you
Yeah,
think
yeah.
about, think about what we've had, I mean, but we can't go too far with what we had because what we had is so bottom of the barrel. It's so bottom last. It's so terrible, right? Like,
But if you compare Geno Smith to Derek Carr, Geno at this point of his career is better than Derek Carr.
you're out of your mind. You're out of
Way
your mind.
better than Derek Carr.
You're out of your mind. You are out of
Oh,
your mind. I'm gonna tell you like
Geno
this.
Smith can at least throw a deep ball. I'll tell you that.
Are you, bruh, before the Saints got hurt, before everyone on the Saints got hurt, who was leading the NFL in deep balls? That's one narrative that's not true. Derek Carr throws a deep ball better than almost most guys in the NFL. But
Since
Geno
since
has been throwing that shit up.
2022, since 2022, the resurgence of Geno Smith when he went to the Seattle Seahawks. I take away the Jets here because it's already been shown that any quarterback that's ever played for the Jets have been shit. And
Right.
then
No
when
matter
they
who's
leave
been
the
coaching.
Jets, like we were talking about Sam Darnold, and just if you look at his Jets career, we were like, oh, he's crap too. But since 2022, Geno Smith leads the league in touchdowns in deep touchdown passes, 28 of them. And
Right. Since
what does he have?
2022.
Eighth highest passing rating in the NFL since 2022. I think his percentage is top 7 somewhere in there.
Right.
And like big time throws, I don't know how they really consider that, but he's second in that. And this, what this really helps? You know who this really helps?
Trey
This guy
Tucker.
right here, Brock Bowers, the guy that we were wondering about what they were going to do.
Right.
Brock Bowers is he's going to get some big time plays.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. Like I said, but you can't compare a guy who's been in the league 13 years and he's had, because we look at his numbers, like I got him right here in front of me. Like 2022 was a great year. 30 touchdowns, 11 picks. But when you go to 2024, 2023, these are basic numbers. 21 touchdowns, 15 picks. That's Derek Carr's rookie year. Like, is you know what I mean? 2023, 20 touchdowns, 9 picks. These are basic numbers. Like, that's why I'm like, it's nothing to celebrate, but when you consider what he's replacing, Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, yeah, it's better than that. But to me, to be like, I'm hearing crazy shit, man. You know how these fans be. They get these expectations so fucking high, no matter who the quarterback is. I just like to keep shit in perspective. And I think with Geno Smith coming here, we got to upgrade the line. This is all on Spy Tech. As soon as I bring up a quarterback, everyone's like, "How are we gonna do this? We don't have no fucking line." Like, bro, that's the GM's job, and I don't give a fuck about it. Just like Telesco ass got fucking smashed out, we'll smash out Spy Tech ass too if he don't do his job. He has a job to do. Fix this line. You got Geno Smith, and we got something going.
And the
Maybe.
offensive line is better with the system too. Like you don't have to have the greatest players at the offensive line if your system and your schemes are correct. And that's
Right.
something about like I like Chip Kelly. And that's another thing about this. Geno Smith and a Chip Kelly offense should be able to go. Hey, you're just gonna have to you have to be accurate in the Chip Kelly and you have to get rid of the ball. And that's what Geno Smith is gonna be able to do.
I mean, but I don't see him getting rid of the ball fast. When I see him go back there, what I do like is he's trying to throw the ball deep. But when I look at him last year, because I'm going off of last year, not 2022.
Yeah, yeah.
Last year, he had a terrible line. Okay, for sure. That's no excuse for 15 interceptions. That's bad decision making under pressure. I'd rather you take more sacks than throw all these goddamn picks. So I'm saying like the player that we're actually getting, I think is really the player we got from last year. But then again, that player last year wasn't with Pete Carroll, right? Even though it's a completely different offense, but Pete Carroll's the one who can fucking whisper to him like the Zen master and shit. That's how I'm looking at Pete Carroll with Geno Smith right now because I've been on Geno Smith for years and years and years and years and years. You know what I mean? For years. So for him
Yeah.
to end up in Las Vegas, man,
Yeah,
it's just
a lot of
scary.
injuries to that Seattle team. I think both running backs went down at one point last year. Their offensive line was crap. Just a learning adjustment. He still had a 70% completion rating last year in a new offense with a new offensive coordinator, new head coach, going his route. So you gotta like that. Geno
That's
Smith,
impressive.
and it's not one of those that you're pounding the table for, right? You're not going, yes, Geno Smith. But if the Raiders would
Right,
have signed Aaron Rodgers, that's a whole different story. We could say
right,
Aaron Rodgers, okay. With Geno Smith, the thing it gives us is it gives us a good quarterback who has top 10, top 12 potential in the NFL, stat wise or whatever you want to say. Not I'm not saying that his talent is, but his stats there are there. And then it allows you to not go away from the draft. If we still want to draft a rookie quarterback, we can do
right,
it because you can bench a Geno Smith. Now imagine you sign Aaron Rodgers or you sign Sam Darnold. What are they going to want to do? They're going to want to start. And when you
right.
bench them, you're going to have more drama. Geno Smith, if he knows he can't get bent, if he knows he's not playing and he's getting outbeat, you're okay benching Geno Smith.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, but if that's even the fucking thought in your mind, you shouldn't be bringing him in ready to extend him. To me, he's on the last year of his contract, right? He's on the last year of his contract. You bring him in this year, let Geno do his thing on this 1 year because that's why he's leaving Seattle because they didn't want to give him what he wanted. And when you look at his numbers, they've trended down since 2022. Like he threw for a lot of yards last year, but 21 touchdowns, 15 picks is not impressive. That's not. I don't give a fuck who you are. That's not impressive. So you bring him in for this year and you just don't pay him. You just fucking let him play on whatever salary he playing, or maybe you give him a little couple dollars for whatever you incentives, whatever you can do for this season. And if he comes out there and he's trash, then you got to bench him, then that's fine. But if you've extended this man before he plays one snap for you, and then how you gonna bench him? It's gonna be a Matt Flynn, Russell Wilson situation like that.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. Like if you even feel like that, you shouldn't be extending them from the gate. You should just let them play out this damn season.
No, you're what the Raiders are trying to do is find a franchise quarterback. And if they what it does is take like I said, it takes the pressure off where they don't have to if we're sitting at number 6 and Shador Sanders is on the board, they don't have to take Shador Sanders. They can be like, okay, let's go somewhere else. Maybe we'll take Jackson Dart later on. Maybe we'll take Doug Gabriel. But when those guys get into camp and they start to show that they could be possibly the future, they're not looking at Geno Smith to be the quarterback for 10 years here in Las Vegas. They're looking at Geno
Uh,
Smith to be the quarterback for 2 years, maybe 3 years, while somebody else is developing to become. And that's a good thing that Geno Smith is. And he comes in here, he can start right now, and he can actually move us up and down the field. And Geno Smith is going to help the defense, and that's the main thing, right? That's the main thing we want. We want a
right.
quarterback that's going to be able to stay on the field, move up and down the field, sustain some drives, and when we get to the red zone, move your damn feet like Geno Smith can and score some damn touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, but I seen that run against the Niners, or I think it was the Niners. But I mean, to act like
Yeah,
that's like what he does is not is wouldn't be accurate. You know what I mean? Like he's had some runs in his career, but we can probably count them. You know what I mean? Like if you're actually a true mobile quarterback, we can't count your runs. We can probably count Geno's runs. Like I don't know, man. Like to me, I'm looking at I don't like to really listen to Hondo Carpenter because he's one of them guys that says any fucking thing. I don't care what no one says.
yeah. No, I
And
agree with you.
he's saying that he can be due for it up to 5-year contract. They're talking about 3 to 5 year contract and $200 million. Now that you can't make that make any sense. He ain't played one down for you. He's been a career backup except for 3 years. 3 years. He's one good year in 2022, and the other 2 years are pretty much basic years. If you're willing to fucking pass up on the future, which is Shador or Cam, and go to look, let's keep it like this. They want to act like this QB draft is so fucking trash. If it's so bad, why the fuck would you find one in the second or third round? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you get these guys at number 6, you have to take them when you have a fucking Geno Smith, or you're setting your fucking self up. Well, because just like you said, he could fucking come in there and fall on his face, and then we ain't gonna have the fucking future on in the background. You know what I mean? Like, to me, if you get Geno Smith, and you have to be looking for a quarterback. So to me, it all depends. It depends on what kind of extension they want to give him. You want to give him a 2-year contract? I'm good with that because you know it's the NFL. 2 years really mean 1 year. They can dump your ass and do what they got to do. But more than 3 years, I'm gonna be
The
nervous.
length of the contract doesn't mean anything. They can give Geno Smith a 5-year, $200 million contract. The length of the
What's gonna do it
contract
right?
doesn't mean anything. It's the guaranteed money. If he's only making guaranteed money for 2 years, and it's really only it's a 5-year, $200 million contract, but when you break it down, it's really only 2 years, $80 million.
Right.
Still a win for us. It's still a
I
win
mean,
for
but
us.
2 years, 80 million for Geno Smith it just doesn't sound right to me. It doesn't sound right to me at all. 2 years, 80 for Geno Smith. Two
That's
years,
that's
80 for Geno Smith. That's
that's
crazy.
quarterback. Hey, what did the Giants pay for Daniel Jones? Like that's
And they should be fired. And they should be fired.
yeah,
They
they
should be
should be,
fired.
but that's the going rate for quarterbacks now, and that, like it or not, that's what we're paying
It's
for. I
terrible.
mean, we're paying $35 million for a defensive end. We never thought we'll see that before.
And, no, you're right about that. But quarterbacks, man, you already know it's the quarterback league. And if you're gonna put 40 million in a quarterback's hand, he's got to be able to be a difference maker. He's got to be able to get your offense going, like you said. And our evidence, we got to look at the evidence. The abundance of evidence is saying it's a dice roll. It's saying he was good 2 years ago, his best. He was at his best 3 years ago. But the entirety of his career, he's been a career backup. He hasn't been able to take jobs from in New York. He's been sitting on the bench in New York. You sitting on what, the Giants too, right? Like, you ain't been able to seize the moment. You know what I mean? Like, I can't pretend like these 3 years is his entire career, because it's not. So there's no way I can give him a big contract. I have to see him play. You know what I mean? I got to see him do his
Yeah,
thing. But like I
but
said, he has improved.
there's a whole lot you got to see. You got to see how Chip Kelly calls his plays, how Chip Kelly
Right.
is inventive with his plays. I mean, this is something we haven't seen in Las Vegas in a long time. We thought maybe we didn't think it, but Mark Davis thought Josh McDaniels was going to bring this electrified offense into Las Vegas. Never happened. We finally have a competent offensive coordinator. We finally have a quarterback that can actually play and do some stuff on the field. And this is something we have like. Okay, we haven't had it since Derek Carr, right? We haven't had a quarterback on there, and we haven't had a good
Right.
offense since John Gruden left, if you want to say that.
Well,
And that was
well, well,
building
well,
that
not
way.
well. That's not really true. That's not really true, because we gotta, if we're gonna look at this, we gotta look at it truthfully and honestly. Now, in 2022, people think I just fucking hate Josh McDaniels because I fucking hate him. No, when he first came to that team, I didn't like it at first, but then I was like, you know what? I looked at the positives like what y'all did, right? And when you look at what actually happened that year, we gave up the most double-digit leads in history in the second half, which means that offense was clicking in the first half. He just don't know how to call a game in the second half. Like, we had a top 10 offense. They were top 10, top 10, top 11, top 12 in scoring, that offense that year. And then we dumped, we dumped instead of fucking fixing the defense, we dumped that, and then we've been bottom 3 ever since. So it wasn't Josh McDaniels a terrible coach, but he was his offense was coming together. But he just doesn't know how to coach a team, and he doesn't know how to really address what the real problems were, or we wouldn't even be in the situation that we're in right now. But as far as feeling like Chip Kelly is going to call a great game, I don't really know. The college game isn't the NFL game, and he hasn't been in the NFL game in a very long time. So I don't like to give guys all these things because that builds expectations, right?
But if you're going to go
Expectations
back
too
to,
high.
if you're going to judge Geno Smith on his Jets days, and you're not going to judge Chip Kelly on his Eagles day, Chip Kelly, no matter what he did as a general manager or as a head coach, his offenses were top in the NFL when he was with the Eagles.
No, facts. He had a good offense, better than I thought, actually. It was better than
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought,
When
but
you
I'm
actually go
not.
back and look at it.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna judge Geno from the Jets day, but I'm looking at it as a package, as an entirety, your entire career. Yeah, I'll take that. Whatever. Let's take the Jets days and throw it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Then we're left with just these 3 years in Seattle. Actually, it's 6 years I think in Seattle, but 3 years that actually mattered in Seattle. These aren't blowing away numbers. These are basic average quarterback numbers. They're average. 2022 Pro Bowl year, he deserved it. If he made it in 2023, it's because he had to be a reserve. These numbers aren't impressive, but we have to look at it for what it is. Now, do I think he can come in and do some things? I think he can do some things, Because before, if you asked me this shit in 2021, no fucking way. I ain't got nothing positive to say. Not one thing. But I can't ignore what he did in 22. And I can't ignore that he still was a serviceable quarterback in 23. And when you look at 24, he still was a serviceable QB, right? I mean, it's not impressive 21 TDs and 15 picks, but it's still serviceable. And when you look at our guys, bottom three, last in the NFL. So it's definitely an upgrade there. But we gotta look at the landscape of the NFL. You know what I mean? Like, does that make us win? You know what I'm saying? Are we gonna be competitive? And when you look at what we did last season, we were competitive when we shouldn't have been. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
had so many guys out. We had terrible quarterback play, and we were still competitive and in most of those games. So if we take it from that perspective, we put in Geno Smith. As long as he cut down on the picks, because 15 picks can't happen, right? That can't happen. If he cut down on them picks, we can probably win a lot of 3-point games this year. I don't think we're gonna be lighting it up like that, but I think we can win a lot of games, a lot of close games, because you already know we got the best special teams
But
in the NFL.
one thing you're forgetting about Geno Smith over the last 3 years is what about the wins? 9-8, 8-7, 10-7.
Right.
He's racking up wins against
It's a team
and
stat though, my guy. I mean, he had good defenses. That's what I'm saying. I'm not looking at
but
like just
he
like
was playing against good teams too.
no, he
San
did. But
Francisco, top
what did he
defense.
do? But what did he
Rams
do,
top defense. Arizona top defense. He played in a pretty tough division while
my
still
guy?
doing all this.
I'm saying, but I understand what you're saying. But when we talk about wins and losses, that comes as a team totality. The defense had to get some stops. Defense won some games. All these things. I'm talking
Hey,
about what
wins and
did
losses
you
only
do
go on
specifically?
on one stat, and that's the quarterback.
Well, that's how they see it. But we talking about reality, and just like it's like Michael Jordan, right? Jordan, yeah, Jordan wasn't shit, but his teams, it's a team game, bro. You know what I mean? You have to. I have to look at what did you do specifically. When I look at what he did specifically, is not that impressive, but it's okay. You know what I mean? It's okay. It's not worth 40 mil a year, but it's okay. But am I gonna be like these? I'm gonna use an analogy right now. Am I gonna be like these Laker fans right now? I got so many Laker fans right now who I'm not watching the Lakers until LeBron James retires. This motherfucker is dominating right now. And I'm like, you're not a fucking Laker fan. Don't be telling me this shit because you're not a fucking fan. You know what I mean? You a fucking hater. Period. Now, if he comes and he's doing his thing, it's no way. I'm not going to the Raider game like this.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
no.
Nah, I'm going to the Raider game like, all right, Gino, let's see what the fuck we got. Let's keep these turnovers
Mhm.
down because, like I said, I've seen flashes of what he's done, and over the past 3 years, he's turned himself into a serviceable quarterback. I will say that, but it's just the expectations of a Tom Brady and how much everyone talks so high of the spy tech, and you know what I mean? Like I'm expecting something better than Geno Smith out the gate.
Well, here's the thing. Last year, Antonio Pierce came in. He talked us all up. We got so excited, and we were like, "Yeah, we're gonna do it." And then the team was just whatever. We didn't get the
Right.
results we wanted. So this year, it seems like everybody on the Raider Nation, everybody is like, "We'll see it. We've heard the talk before. We want to actually win some games, and we're not going to buy into anything until we actually see it in there." And I see where people are coming from. But that's not the guy I am. I'm always going to see the positive. I'm always going to try to see. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt until I'm proven wrong. Where I'm good.
Right.
I'll rather say, hey, the Raiders are going to be good, and then they end up shitting the bed than me going, we're going to be 5-11 and we're going to suck ass again. Fuck the Raiders. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, yeah, it's
I'd
crazy.
rather be on the positive side of it than the negative side going into the season.
No, I hear you on that, and that's why I don't ever consider my shit positive or negative. I just always come with a realistic view. And one thing I'll never be like, man, if anyone's watched my content over the past 2 years, I've never even predicted a winning record. I'm not even a winning record, any record. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I look at what we have, and I'm just like, lower your expectations. You know what I mean? I was going on all these different shows, and they're all, uh, we're gonna do this with Jimmy. I'm like, guys, lower your expectations. This guy's been on a great team, right? This is what I'm talking about with these wins and losses. Jimmy G had a lot of wins, very few losses in San Francisco. You take him out that system, he's nothing. He's trash. That's what I'm saying. What did you do is more important than a team win or a team loss. Like if a quarterback throws for 350 and 2 touchdowns and 1 pick and you still lost, it goes down as an L. But what did you do in that game? I'm looking at the game like, damn, he balled the fuck out. The team fucked it up. You know what I mean? Like to me, it's important what that player actually brings because, like, just like I tell my boy, I said, look, they're not recruiting your team to go to college. You know what I mean? they're recruiting you. So if your team is trash, even though he's not on trash teams, D1, but they're recruiting you, not your team. So if your team is fucking get 4 wins, it's all about what are you doing on the right side of the fucking line or wherever they got you out on the line. You know what I mean? It's all about what you do specifically.
So if the Raiders didn't have Geno Smith, right? If they didn't trade for Geno Smith, who is the best quarterback option out there right now to
Well,
fix the Raiders if it wasn't Geno Smith?
well, see, we can't really ask that because he got traded for. It wasn't even on the market. Now, if we're gonna say who else could we have traded for, who I would rather have traded for, I'd rather trade for Kyler Murray. If we want to say who we could have traded for realistically or something like that, but I'd rather trade for someone like that. You know what I mean? But to act like, I don't know, man. I just don't like the celebrations, the high fives, like, and then I'm getting these messages, man, like people really, really acting like I'm said they're doing the same thing they did with Jimmy. They're doing the same thing they did with AOC, and I'm trying to tell them, even though this is a way better situation, right? Because we
Right.
actually have a team like he can actually do some things. Them other guys, they were complete trash. But I just tell Raider Nation, temper your expectations and it's a show me league. They gotta show us. We Raider fans, we gonna show up no matter what. But they gotta show us something. You know what I mean? It's been how many years? They have to show us something, bro. We can't go all in and be like and talk crazy and talk stupid, and then we're gonna be hurt and let down and mad at the world. Like last year, I wasn't that mad because I saw the shit coming. You can't go into the NFL with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell in the quarterback competition. Two backups that were in the QB competition. We was the laughing stock of the NFL last year in the preseason. You know what I mean? Like I knew what was coming down the pipeline. And but for this time around, it feels a lot better. I feel like Pete Carroll, I feel like the right decisions are going to be made. You know what I mean? That's how I felt the day they hired Pete Carroll and brought in Spy Tech. I already knew before they brought in Spy Tech because I don't know who the fuck he is like that. He's been a GM assistant. You know what I mean? We don't know
Yeah,
what it
yeah.
is until you are the man. But when it comes to Pete Carroll, I respect Pete Carroll and I like what he's been doing. But I felt like better decisions were on the horizon. And then for us, our first free agent signing was Kappa, who gave up the most sacks last year, and then the very next announcement is Geno Smith. I mean, that doesn't really fucking make you jump for joy. You know what I mean? If you actually are paying attention to the game.
Alex Kappa had a bad ankle injury, and then was trying to come back. You know how sometimes it takes you more than a year to recover from a bad injury. You already know that,
Yeah,
and
facts.
Alex Kappa, it just depends on the offense you're in. He was very solid in Tampa Bay, and then went up to Bengals, and sometimes it's just a team atmosphere that changes you. And
Right.
I don't think anybody's expecting an all-star performance, but getting a little bit of familiarity. And I think that they were already showing like, hey, we need to get another guard in, and it was showing that hey, we all knew that Andre James was going to be on his way out. Once we saw what
Absolutely.
JPJ was doing at center last year, we were like, why did it take so long to get him back to the center position? Like, so they had to do something with James and just bringing in another guard. And why not going after Kappa, who is a Pro Bowler guy? But you got to remember, Kappa has overcome a lot in his career. He's not a big school, big college guy. He came from a small school college and has defied the odds in the NFL already.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, if you made it to the NFL, you went through the trenches. It's a long journey. You know what I mean? But when we're talking about NFL, it's about winning. No one gives a fuck about your story. No one gives a fuck about what happened before. It's about what are you going to do now? What have you done for me lately? And when we look at Kappa, he was real good in 2020. I think he was a top 10 guard.
Yeah.
And after that, I think he was number 40. And then it just got worse and worse and worse. You know what I mean? Like it just is what it is. But my issue, I don't have a problem with us bringing him in, but it was just kind of strange to bring him in like he was like the top guard. We got to get him in right now. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like that kind of confused me. And then the very next announcement to be Geno Smith, that just you know what I mean? Like it doesn't. It kind of shows. Are we? Is this the same old shit? You know what I mean? From an honest perspective, is this the same old shit?
Yeah, but okay, Geno Smith, Gardner Minshew. That's. I think that's a whole different topic. Like, nobody. I don't think any. We're looking at Geno Smith as a starter, and you can actually like go, okay, Geno Smith can be the starter. Last year when Gardner Minshew signed, nobody was like, "This is our starter." We were like, "Okay, hopefully we get something else." And then all of a sudden the season starts, and we're like, "We're fucked." Like we are totally fucked.
See, but that's maybe you and maybe a couple guys who actually know the game. The rest of the fucking guys, they thought we were gonna fucking win. That's why so many fans at the end of the year were so pissed off at Antonio Pierce. I'm like, how could you be? If you're gonna be mad
Yeah.
at anyone, you got to be mad at Mark Davis and then for not giving them a fucking quarterback in the quarterbacks league. Like the expectations are so high because it seems like the Raider fans are happy with any fucking thing. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, y'all, we gotta. If we want to win, we can't always be worried about loyalty and all that shit. Fuck all of that shit, man. If you ain't producing, get the fuck out of here, man. That's just what it is. If you want to be a good team, but I still feel like things is going to be going in the right direction. I can't wait for the free agency period to actually start because with all of this money we have and these, it's not like we have a million needs because we don't. Like the team is, we have needs, but we're nowhere near as bad as some people think we are. You know what I mean? When you look at these
Yeah.
pieces that we have, so it's on Spy Tech. He has to kill this free agency. I don't want to hear no fucking excuses. He has to murder this free agency. We have all this bread. There's at least 3, 4 guards available right now who are young, who are Pro Bowl, who aren't gonna ask for crazy dollars. And even if they did, fucking get them. You're not gonna win in the NFL with no fucking guys. You got to pay guys. So right now, I'm looking at Spy Tech right now. I want to see what he actually wants to bring in because this Geno Smith, this had nothing to do with Spy Tech. This is Pete Carroll saying, "Hey, I want to bring in my guy. You know, I've got the best out of him, and I feel like it's a good start for us to get rolling." And they just like, you know what, Pete, we respect you. Let's do it. But the free agency look is going to be a lot of what he feels. You know what I mean? It's going to be starting from the GM to the coaches instead of from the coaches to the GM. So I'm going to see what his vision is like, and if he's going to be scared to spend his money.
So who's your number one free agent that you want like if when free agency starts, who do you want to see that first ticker that it says the Raiders signed, boom, and you're gonna be like, hell yeah.
I would like them to grab one of these nice edge rushers, man. I would like them to grab a who was out there coming up specifically. I've been
Like
so worried
Josh
about these
Sweat.
quarterbacks. Yeah, like I like Sweat. I like who else is out there right now on the edge. It's a few
Uh
guys, and a few guys just
well
got
they have
released. And
what Sweat, they have Reddick.
I like Reddick.
Um I don't know the other ones. I mean,
Yeah, I don't
you can
have
go
them
back, you
off
can bring
top.
your boy, you can bring Malcolm, or what's his name? Malcolm Kuntz if they re-sign him, and then you got Khalil Mack. I don't know if anybody
Right.
else. Me, I want a defensive back. I want, like, if they announce DJ Reed is coming to Las Vegas, or Carlton Davis, that I'm gonna be like, yes, okay, thank you, we
Carlton Davis,
appreciate
the
that.
the, the corner from Tampa Bay.
He was with Tampa Bay, but then he went to Detroit last year.
Yeah, he's up and down, but he's solid
So,
though.
but to
He's
put
solid.
him on the other side of Bennett, or and have somebody
Give
like
me
that,
give me
huh?
Darius Slay. Give me Darius Slay.
Well,
Give me
Darius
Darius Slay
Slay,
on the one
isn't
year.
he already released? He could be signed at
Yeah.
any time right now.
Yeah, exactly. They released him right now. Bring him in on a 1 year deal, 2 year deal. He's still balling. He's still playing at the top level. And you want Bennett to learn from guys. You want these young corners to learn. You bring in a veteran like that, Super Bowl champion, right? Just won a
Yeah.
Super Bowl. The pedigree is there. Like we need to sign not just names but guys. And that show, if we sign a guy like that, that shows that we're serious about what we're trying to do. You bring in a Hassan Reddick or something, I know you're serious because I'm looking at Trayvon Merrick, I'm letting them go. I'm looking at Devon Diablo, I'm letting them go. I'm looking
I
at
think I think they're gone too. I think they would have been signed already. Like, people are talking about it, and I
right.
like them. They've been good players for us, but they haven't
Oh,
been
yeah.
great players
Yeah,
enough to
they have.
go. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to go out there and give Trayvon 15 million. Like, I don't think the
Fuck
Raiders
no.
can.
No, fuck no. No.
Especially when you got a guy like what's his name from Miami on the. I can't think of his name right now. Why am I
Oh
drawing
yeah,
a blank?
Holland. Was it Holland?
Yeah, Holland. When you can go out there and upgrade with Holland, why not? Hey, another linebacker. I would like Nick Bolton. I think Nick
Yeah, he
Bolton
a
would be
beast.
amazing on the Raiders if
He a
we can
beast.
pry him away from Kansas City. I would love to get Nick Bolton. His age and defensive way he plays, to help stop that run. That would be somebody that I would love to get.
No, I like Bolton. He's a beast over there. He's a beast. I mean, that's what I'm saying. When you look at, I don't have my phone in front of me, man, but when you look at the actual free agency, it's some guys, man, where we can fix this team in one off season. It's because they're not that bad. You know what I mean? Like you look, I was looking at a couple guards coming out. The what's the guard name? Becton, Makai Becton from he just won a chip with Philly. He went to Philly last year on like a fucking $3 million deal or some bullshit like that.
Yeah,
He's want to get some security now, but it ain't like you got to give him 100 million. You know what I mean? Like that's a guy you can bring in for like 30, 40
but
million on like
but
4 years.
another guy who was on the Jets that was mismanaged right there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. That's why you're right about the Jets thing. I don't know what they got going on over there. You're not the only person to say that. Who, whatever they got, people like to act like the Raiders is the place to come to die. I think it's really the Jets is where you go to really die.
Yeah, and the Jets have the longest playoff drought in the NFL right now. And like you said, the Raiders aren't so far off, and
Nah,
they were in a lot of games, and they competed. They even competed with the Kansas City Chiefs last year. Injuries, we were up
lots.
there with the Detroit Lions with what 33% of our team was injured from week one all the way to the end of the season. But then again, you're not supposed to have excuse. You're supposed to be next man up. We had a horrible quarterback position. We had a great defense, or pretty damn good, solid defense. I'm not going to say great. We had a good defense that should have won a lot of games for us if we just had something, just
Yeah,
had
facts.
something at that quarterback position, which like makes me more excited because I mean that's probably why we're excited. Maybe we shouldn't be this excited about Geno Smith, but you have to be like in the big atmosphere. But you got to be happy with what like John Spytek has and Pete Carroll are going to try to put a team together, and they're trying to do where we're competitive now, but also going to be good for the future. And it's kind of a tough one to do. It's kind of tough to not go completely rebuild, but try to build while you're rebuilding and
Right.
win while you're rebuilding. It's going to be a tough task for them to do it. But if anybody can do it, I think Pete Carroll can do it.
Yeah, I mean, and people act like to me, I don't think it's that tough, man. I don't think it's that tough. I think it's been fucking player mismanagement. I look at the Denver Broncos, man. They are Bo Nix. I don't care what no one say. Bo Nix is trash, bro. Bo Nix is he is successful in that system. Go watch what he's doing in that system. He's not making all the throws. He's not making fucking corner throws and you know what I mean. He's not making double team throws. He's not making any of them. They make the game very easy, very simple for him, and he can use his legs when he wants to use it. But with Geno Smith, even with Geno Smith, we're over the Denver Broncos because we would have beat them last year. You know what I mean? Like, it's the fact that you, like you said, you're getting nothing from your quarterbacks and your defense is on the field the entire game. I mean, what can you really do? But when I'm looking at the free agents, like I look at our offensive line,
Mm-hmm.
I don't love Colton Miller, right? I think it's time to trade him. They should already traded him already. Colton Miller, JPJ, DJ Glaze. Those are your three cornerstone pieces of the offensive line right now. And then we just signed what's his name? Who do we just sign right now to an extension on the offensive line? I forget who he was. It's a guard. I forget what guard. I gotta look
Oh,
it up.
Parham?
Was it Parham
Oh,
or
I don't know. I don't
white
know.
hair? Was it white hair? I'm not sure who it was. We
No, I
signed.
don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we extended somebody. I forget who the fuck it was, but you look at the offensive line. It's just a couple pieces, man. It's just a couple pieces, and when you have the money that we have, we're not in cap trouble like the Saints. It's really no excuse, man. It's really no excuse because if you're gonna think you're gonna draft the offensive lineman and think he's gonna be Joe Alt, that's really tough. If you already have a good start with the O line, I think we can plug and play from free agency. I think that should be plugged and play. That don't mean you don't draft you know guards and shit still, but I think we can plug and play on that offensive line, and we got to get a good running back, man. It's which we can get in the draft too. It's loaded with running backs, and then that brings me to ask you this question: how do you feel about about Ashton Genty at number 6?
I don't want the Raiders to take Genty at number 6. To be honest with you, I think it would be a wasted. I don't get me wrong. I like the talent. I like his talent, and I like what he can do. But I think this draft is so loaded with running back potential that it would be a wasted value to take Genty at number 6 for us. Just because there's like 14 to 15 running backs in this draft that are pretty damn good that could actually help the team out. And I think we'll be better off taking them later on and taking another running back. Where like if you can get Hampton or you can get Johnson or you can get somebody else later on, why are you not going to do that? Why not take a better position player or a better overall player at number 6 and then wait on your running back later on? Because I mean, just going through the running backs, like there's so many of them, and I don't know if you've had a chance to go through some of them, but the Rocket Raheem Sanders is my favorite one, and he's from South Carolina. That's my favorite guy right there.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Big dude, right? He ran like a 4.4 or something like that. And he like
Yeah, yeah,
215 or something like that.
he's like 6 feet, 217 pounds, and he
Yeah.
just ran a like 4.4,
Yeah,
40,
some
and it's
crazy
like
shit.
just a big old dude.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like I love Ashton Genty. I did this video a few times. I love Ashton Genty. And I'm gonna go ahead and shout out my guy, Dylan Riley, the freshman Dylan Riley, who's sophomore now. That's my boy's son right there, playing behind Ashton Genty. I didn't know who Ashton Genty was a couple years ago because I don't watch Boise State. And my boy was telling me before his son went there, he's like, "Hey man, Ashton Genty." I'm like, I don't know. Started watching him because my boy's son was playing. That motherfucker's special. Genty is a special fucking running back. He to me when I see him, he might be one of the best. He is one of the best I've seen in the last 20 years. But to take him at number 6, like to me, if you're gonna say I'm gonna take my running back at 6 and get a quarterback in the second round, you should probably slap yourself. You should always you should always go quarterback and then get you a running back later. Like it's a quarterback's league. As much as we love Saquon Barkley, as much as we love Josh Jacobs, that's my guy. Who won that damn Super Bowl? It wasn't Saquon. You know what I mean? It was the quarterback. It still comes down to QB play. So to me, if we have a guy there at 6 and his name is Shador Sanders or Cam Ward, we have to pull that trigger. Especially when you have a Geno Smith who's a dice roll. Let's be real, he's a dice roll. We might hit 7, but then again, it might be snake eyes. So to me, if it's a QB there at 6, to me, we have to take him. And I'm not talking about Jackson Dart.
See, I'm if Mason Graham is sitting there at number 6, and the Raiders are on the board, and Mason Graham is sitting there, I want to go Mason Graham. I want the defensive tackle. I'm adding to our defensive line, and I'm going Christian Wilkins, Mason Graham, Max Crosby, and whoever else we get a defensive end, and we're coming at you. That's me, and we'll worry about the quarterback later. I think that's what the Geno Smith trade helps us with is it's going to give us that option at number 6. Hey, if we want to trade back, like if we get the number 6 and some of these guys are falling, and we go, hey, we want to be able to trade back, and we move back a little bit, why not?
You're right. You're right. But tell me this: what if a Travis Hunter is there at number 6?
Same thing, right? Like you would take Travis Hunter. You would have to take Travis Hunter.
Yeah, man. It's some guys that's coming out in this draft, man. But it all depends on what do you actually need. And to me, it depends on how you view Geno Smith. That's why I wish we wouldn't give him an extension now. I wish we would come in and just be like, fuck it, he's playing on this year deal. Dak Prescott his ass. But I don't know, man. And I just in these quarterbacks, to me, I got to go QB, man. I have to go QB because one thing that I'm not buying right now is this whole season, everyone's like Shador Sanders, Cam Ward, Shador Sanders, Cam Ward. These guys are good. These guys are great. Season ends, everyone's get bored. Now they're like, this quarterback draft is trash. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And then they're trying to say, then they want to boost guys up. I call this shit. They want to boost up Milrow. They want to boost up Jackson Dart. They remind me of Anthony Richardson and Will Levis. These guys who no one gave a fuck about until the season was over and we were bored. That's why I'm like, I'm afraid I stay clear of those guys. And to me, when they say, fuck Shador Sanders, let's get Dart in a second. Okay, so you telling me a guy who's been the number 1, number 2 consensus all year, you want to say fuck him and get a guy who rolls up because we're bored after the season? I don't fuck with shit like that. That don't make any fucking sense. We already seen what happens when you do that shit.
Yeah, and Shador Sanders isn't as bad as everybody makes him out to be. I wish he would have threw at the combine because he would have shut a lot of people up and showed that he still is the second best quarterback in this draft, at least with arm strength. A lot of people confuse his cockiness with attitude problem. Like, no, if I like a guy who's going to come in there and be cocky and know what he's worth and he's going to and carry himself. Like, isn't that what you want? You want somebody to come in and think that they are the best of the best. Like, you don't want that guy going, well, Cam Ward's better than me, and so he should go. No, you want him to go, hey, if you don't want to draft me, if you don't want to win, then don't draft me. Like, I like that. That's the kind of player I like. And some people don't. Like, that's a turnoff for some people, or they confuse it with just an attitude or a troubled player. No, Shador Sanders is not that. But there is a lot of work that Shador Sanders needs to do, and I think he'll learn that when he gets to the NFL. He does hold on to the ball a little bit longer, but it was part of the he had to make those damn plays. He had some of the worst offensive line in the NFL. Do I think that he's going to be able to run around in the backfield like he did at Colorado? No, but it's going to be a work in progress for him.
See now, and when we compare these two quarterbacks, now that we done brought them up, now when we compare these two QBs. When I look at these two quarterbacks, to me it's really not even that close to me. And to me, it's Sanders all the way because they look at arm strength. That's what got us fucked with Jamarcus Russell. He can throw the ball 60 yards on his knees. Remember that shit? That didn't get us nowhere, man. When I watch, this is what I say about Jackson Dart, Cam Ward, Shador Sanders. We're gonna talk about these three guys. We don't even have to go to film. We can look at just highlights alone. And I want you to look at their feet. I want you to look at what's around their feet. Cam Ward, he had a good running game, good offensive line, all day to throw. Dart, pretty good offensive line. When I watched him, his highlights, there's no one around his feet, man. He's just fucking like, and I watch fucking, and I watch Shador. He's constantly under crazy pressure. He's been sacked more than any quarterback in the last 2 years. And that's why I tell people he reminds me of Joe Burrow. He's not athletic enough to fucking run a 4.5, but they do enough, and it's always running to throw. You know what I mean? When I look at, if you watch some Joe highlights and then you watch some Shador highlights, if you take away the skin color, you're gonna be like, these motherfuckers play a lot alike. And then when I look at Cam Ward, a lot of erratic shit, a lot of bad footwork. Yeah, he's bigger, he's stronger, he can get out of some shit. But when we talk about throwing guys open, he doesn't do that as well as Shador. We talk about accuracy, is not as accurate as Shador. He doesn't anticipate like Shador. And to me, and he doesn't throw with motherfuckers around his feet the way Shador does. And to me, that's the NFL. When I watch guys who have all day to throw, that's not the NFL. NFL is Max on your ass. Bosa's right there. Max right there. You know what I mean? And I watch Cam Warden, they have all fucking day, man. They have all fucking day. And to me, that's just not the NFL.
Yeah, but if you're looking for somebody to pair up with Geno Smith, Shador Sanders, he would be perfect for it. But if you were like, we're not going to take a quarterback, then I think Milrow or something like that, you're willing to take a shot on with Geno Smith now as your quarterback. So I don't know. I don't know how far Sanders is going to fall. Like Sanders might, like, this could be all talk, and somebody at the top of this draft be like, oh, you know what, take a Sanders. But if you're the Tennessee Titans and you're willing to trade the number 1 overall pick and you need a quarterback, doesn't that throw red flags at you? Like, oh, damn, what's up with these quarterbacks if the top team doesn't want the damn quarterback?
Well, not really, because they need everything. They need every fucking thing. That's the perfect team to trade back. They need a quarterback. They need a running back. Fucking they had Tony Pollard there last year. They need receivers. They need fucking linemen. They need a lot of shit over there. That's a team that should be trading back. Now, if the Cleveland Browns are saying fuck Shador and fuck Cam, now you got a problem. We know they need a quarterback. They have a great defense. They have a good offensive line. They got good running game. They got everything there. A quarterback is what they need. Now, if they say fuck a QB, then maybe you want to think about it. But to me, I always go to the tape, man. I go to the film. I go to the games. You watch the games and you see who's doing what. I don't give a fuck about post arguments, what people do when the season's over and you're bored and you're just trying to figure out shit. And then guys you never
Yeah.
heard of, they're all like, hey, this guy, man, none of us know who the fuck he is. All of a sudden, he's a guy. Like, to me, you got to go off of what you've been seeing, and you got to watch the spin. They spin a lot of shit, and like you said, for them to act like being confident is a bad thing, it's some bullshit. Because I did a video the other day. They love Johnny Manziel. They love Baker Mayfield. Even fucking Joe Burrow got some swag like that. We don't hear
Yeah.
shit about it. You know what I mean? It's just like this is all about Deion Sanders, who was the best defensive back of all fucking time, one of the best players of all time. He put that into his seed. Why are we running away from that? Why are we running
Yeah.
away from that? When they
Well,
want to embrace Peyton Manning, they want to embrace Eli Manning, but you want to say fuck Shador. When Shador dad was way better than they fucking dad. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. To me, it's political bullshit. It has nothing to do with football. And to me, if these guys are weird enough to pass on QBs that and not for football reasons, this motherfucker ain't never got in trouble. He been rich. He don't got to do this shit. He can do anything he want in this world. For him to put his whole life on the line for football, dedicated for the football, it's because he wants to play. He wants to be great. He doesn't need the game. Most of these guys, they get to the NFL, they need the game. He don't need this shit. It's purely because he
not
loves the game.
anymore. Though. Every player coming into the NFL now is rich now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, they're getting the money now. Yeah, they're getting the money now.
some of these guys are making more in college than they're going to make their rookie year, and it's ridiculous. Like,
That's
what
true too.
Travis Hunter has a $10 million offer to stay in college if he wanted to stay.
Right. But what's 10 mil compared to what he gonna make in the NFL at the top 3 pick? That ain't shit. But they ain't coming into the NFL broke. Like you said, they're not coming
Yeah,
into the
no,
NFL broke. But to come from the money line he come from,
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
LeBron, it's like LeBron James' son. He can go be a fucking computer tech. You don't have to do it. You know what I mean? He's playing for the love of the game. And he's dedicated to the game. Whatever he turns into is what he turns into. But he's playing it for the love of the game. He don't need the money. And I appreciate guys like that. And I appreciate guys who come from nothing and they got to get this money too. So I don't know. To me, I like my guys confident. And at the end of the day, when people say, Shador ran backwards, he did this, he did that, he did this, he was this. And then we look at the numbers at the end of the year. 10 picks, almost 40 touchdowns, fucking domination. Imagine if he had a decent line. Imagine if he had Cam's line. He had no running game too. So Shador
and,
Sanders had no running game
and a
or line.
pro offense too. If you're going to give him credit,
Exactly.
I mean, Pat Shermer is
NFL coordinator.
NFL quarterback, past ex NFL head coach. Like, so he was in a pro offense. There's good things about him that people overlook just because of his attitude or what they perceive
It's
as a bad attitude.
just because of his dad. If it was any people act like Cam Ward ain't doing the same shit. This motherfucker
Yeah,
just came out and says, you know what I mean? See how they're like Cam Ward gets to live in peace, right? Shador can't have no peace. He's been under pressure his whole life. Like he's already risen. Like give me a guy who's been scrutinized his whole career and knows how to handle that. He shows that he can do all of those things. Like I don't understand why all that's being overlooked. But to me, if he's there at 6, you have to do it. I don't give a fuck what we got going on. You have to do it if he's there at 6, man. I don't know.
yeah,
But before we get too deep, let's check out some of these comments, man. Look like we got a few people want to chime in right here.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You know what did it say right here? Scared but hopeful. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. Scared, well, scared, but I won't say scared, but I would say expectations aren't high, but a little definitely more positive than last year. I would go there. Third and 30 mil, right?
Well, you have to. I think there's more positivity going into this
Absolutely.
offseason, or going into what we are building now than what was last year because you kind of you like with Antonio Pierce, yeah, and we're trying to get behind it, but you kind of felt like it was a win-win. Like if he didn't do good, they were going to get rid of him. If he did good, they were going to keep him. Where and you could tell that him and Tom, like once the draft happened, once Brock Bowers was drafted, you could tell that Antonio Pierce and Antonio Pierce and Tom Telesco were not on the same page. And finally, like this is what I'm starting to like about John Spytek and Pete Carroll when they're making these decisions. It sounds like they're on the same damn page. Like this is what
Absolutely.
we're doing, and we're going with it.
Absolutely. Hopefully, it looked like Mark Davis learned from that because you hire Antonio Pierce. That's what I was so upset. That's why I had Antonio Pierce back all season because you hired Antonio Pierce. You act like we're gonna build this team in his vision. Then you bring in Tom Telesco, fucking and on the same day. Fucking Antonio Pierce says Josh Jacobs is the heartbeat of this team. We got to bring him back. They fucking bring in Telesco. He says, I believe in a 3-back system. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? You had a three
Yeah,
back system in the Chargers for the past 5-6 years, and Josh Jacobs has outrushed your all 3 of your guys all of these years. So that happened, and then he didn't want to get the Jaden, even try to call Jaden, all these things. Like I already knew they weren't on the same page, and I knew it was some bullshit. That's why Antonio Pierce ended up hitting me up. He ended up messaging me. We talked a few times because it's like it's like a throwaway season. It's a QB league, and anyone who expected us to win last year just wasn't being realistic when you have these guys playing quarterback. That's why when I knew when we got Pete Carroll, I said they're not going to do that bullshit to Pete Carroll. They're not gonna
no,
they're not gonna do that. You know what I mean? But that just made me more upset because that just tells me they just threw the whole season away last year. That was just it just made me more upset. You know what I mean? Like, bro, we didn't even try to get guys, but now we're gonna just do everything we should do with that. You know what I mean? Like, we should have been doing that from the beginning. You shouldn't have to have Spy Tech and Carroll to make you want to do the right thing. You know what I mean?
yeah, and finally, yeah, I think Mark Davis learned, and you haven't heard a lot from him like this offseason. He's sitting back. Tom Brady's running the show basically now, and we actually got
Right.
football people in
Yeah.
the building. People that know the sport and know how to do it and do it correctly. And if it doesn't turn out correctly, hey, then but or at least we're like as long as you're making right choices, some of them are going to hit. Not all of them will hit, but most of
No.
them, a good majority of them will hit.
Right, exactly. As long as you ain't trying to see what always fucked us up over the years is the Raiders always thought they were smarter than everyone else.
Hmm.
Right? You have the consensus fucking guy that's supposed to land to you, and we're gonna go get a guy that no one's ever heard of, trying to be smarter than everyone else. That's what always fucked us over. I don't think that's gonna happen this time around. But we don't know though. We haven't seen what Spytek does as the man. You know what I mean? This is his first job as the guy. So we're gonna find out right now. And this is what I'm talking about, Joe. This shit is what I can't.
The
This shit is what I
AOC
can't.
level.
This shit I can't. Like, do you not see this guy is a career backup? He could get better the next few years. He could. But when you talk about he when he has clean pockets, I mean, he just doesn't produce, man. He doesn't throw touchdowns. And they said, well, he did against the hurt Denver Broncos, against the hurt Chargers, and that was it. Besides that, he did not produce. He didn't produce. And if
Yeah,
you have to look at the NFL as a landscape, man. It's not about loyalty. It's a business, and we about winning. And you're not gonna win with this guy, man.
and he still stares down too much, and he throws some bad plays that. I mean, like you said, he could still develop and still get into it, but it's not there. It's not going to be for the Raiders.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I can't fucking do some of that shit, man. But check this out, Joe. I'm gonna take a quick little urination. Hey, y'all stay logged in right now. I'm gonna take a quick urination real quick and play a little bit of this here media while I go take this piss.
Acting like he's sick, but he ain't sick enough. Anybody call a hit it, we gon' hit him up.
I rap next on here, just so y'all know.
Strikes, they ain't playing right. How you get double life? They chop a drum, boys sing like Barry White. It's so funky, gotta have that thing every night. Katy Perry White, some people like the snow in. 4 o'clock in the morning, I ain't going in. Singram's gin got my little chest burning. You don't wanna get shot, it be sizzling, it be burning. I used to bleed the block for this money that I'm earning. You wasn't outside, you know you had a curfew. Sometimes I pray to God, cause it feel like I'm cursed, do jacking and robbing. I even snatch purses too, it's a struggle for survival. Drink water and eat food. I know he was a cop, he thought he had me fooled. I know he was a cop, he thought he had me fooled. I know he was a cop, he thought he had me fooled.
Cause I don't give a fuck. Talking big shit, but he ain't big enough. Nigga acting like he's sick, but he ain't sick enough. Anybody call a hit it, we gon' hit him up. Cause I don't give a fuck. Talking big shit, but he ain't big enough. Nigga acting like he's sick, but he ain't sick enough. Anybody call a hit it, we gon' hit him up.
All you niggas shooting dice with your life, but you got a price to pay. Going against the grain, you probably gon' pay that price today. Posted with the 4-5 toaster right by the microwave. Fully loaded, fresh off the safety, cause ain't nobody safe. That's why you see the handle bulging by the pancreas. I'd rather get caught with it than without it, I'm staying dangerous. These player hating niggas don't sleep, cause they off that angel dust. You think they playing fair in this game, don't even lace them up. These niggas blow off your blind side with a mini 9. It costs about 350, get you in the pine. Talking out the side of your neck.
Homies to do the time.
It's just the price of the game, homies to do the time.
Cause I don't give a fuck. Talking big shit, but he ain't big enough. Nigga acting like he's sick, but he ain't sick enough. Anybody call a hit it, we gon' hit him up. Cause I don't give a fuck. Talking big shit, but he ain't big enough. Nigga acting like he's sick, but he ain't sick enough. Anybody call a hit it, we gon' hit him up.
Back, y'all. I'm back, y'all. Had to take that quick urination. I was sipping on all that Beasto last night. Let's take a look at some of these comments right here. What that shit do, Billy Davis, you know? Yes, sir, absolutely. Khalil Mack. Let's get into some Khalil Mack real quick. My guy, how you feel about the great Khalil Mack, the only player in NFL history to make All Pro as a linebacker and as a defensive end?
If I'm the Raiders, I would bring Khalil Mack back if the price is right. I'm not out here. He has to remember he's not the Khalil Mack of what we're thinking of. I'm not going to pay him $20 million a season to come in here. I'd rather draft somebody or pay somebody cheaper than that. But if Khalil Mack wants to come back at the right price, he wants to come back. You already know the Raider Nation will accept him back.
Oh hell yeah!
We feel that he should have never left. What happened. But Khalil Mack would be one guy that the Raider Nations would open up and bring him back in a heartbeat.
I agree with that. And I don't, man, I need to fucking be more. Here we go, my shit. I don't know what Khalil Mack did last year. I know he's been in and out the lineup with, little nagging injuries and shit like that. But when I'm looking at the Raiders, I'm looking like, all right, you got Khalil Mack. You got Christian Wilkins. People forget about him just because he missed pretty much the whole season.
Yeah.
So you got Christian Wilkins. You got what's my guy name? You got John. I hope we bring back John Jenkins for a little bit of petty cash, man. I like John Jenkins. That motherfucker's swallowing shit up out there. Him and Adam Butler playing. I like our D line. Like what we're building on the defensive line. I really like it, man. I hope we brought back Adam Butler, right? I think I seen
Yeah, he's
something
already
about.
back. Butler's
Yeah,
already back.
yeah. That was key. So to have Max, Adam Butler, Christian Wilkins, and then the rotation to John Jenkins, or if we let him go, whatever. But the other side of Malcolm Kuntz. Now, I like Malcolm Kuntz, but I'm worried about. I ain't gonna say I'm worried. I just don't think he's. I don't think we're bringing him back for the simple fact these guys don't have any type of allegiance to him. But I will give them the fact. I will give them props that they didn't come here and be like, we're gonna get all of our guys. Fuck these guys. You know what I mean? Like they personally
Yeah.
did say we're gonna lock up the best players we have. Now they haven't locked up Spillane yet. I've been pounding the table for Spillane since last offseason. I really hope they bring him back because we brought back the same D coordinator, right? He's the fucking Mike linebacker. It makes sense. It just makes sense. You got the same D coordinator. Bring back Spillane. He's been top 10 linebacker the past couple years as a Raider. I didn't even know who the fuck he was in Pittsburgh. I'm gonna be real with you. So when he came, I was like, man, who the fuck is this guy? He ain't been nothing but a fucking dog since he been here. Nothing but a dog. And I hope we bring him back. But I look at the Malcolm Kuhn situation. I think we lose him because other teams seen what he could possibly be. He was on the rise. What you think about that?
Well, it's hard to pay somebody that's injured, and that's what you're going to fight with yourself. Like the value of it. If Malcolm Kuntz was 100%, then it's easy to pay him the $15 million, whatever he's going to ask for, $20 million a defensive end wants, because he's going to want big. His agent's not going to go, hey, just because he's hurt, we're going to take a discount. And so the
Nah.
Raiders have to look at the overall aspect of it and go, do we have that money to pay another defensive end that much? And do we? And we're coming back from an injury where he's going to be using his legs a lot to get off that pass rush, and he's not going to be 100% come week one.
Tough.
It's going to be tough, and I don't see the Raiders doing that. I don't see the Raiders giving Malcolm Kuntz that much money for 1 year that it's going to be a comeback year next year. I see another team outbidding him for it. Robert Spillane, there's some bad, like you said, badass player. We all love his toughness. Raider fans, we fall in love with mediocre players all the time, and he is one of those guys. He's not a great linebacker. He's a solid linebacker, and I think the Raiders are struggling with what his value is on the open market. And I have no issue with allowing players to go out there and test the market. And if Robert Spillane finds out, hey, this team is willing to offer me this, will you match it? Bring it back, and then the Raiders go. I think that's what the Raiders are struggling with right now, is because our team has good players, all right players, but we don't know how much value they are. We don't want to compete against ourselves. That'd be the last thing you want to do,
Right.
is overpay a player on your own team that nobody else was going to pay.
See, now my thing is this: what is he commanding? It's not like he was an All Pro or a Pro Bowler, so we already know where he's not going to command fucking top dollar. We know that. But the thing is, he does everything good except he's not the best coverage linebacker, right? But
Yeah.
you only have so many linebackers who can cover at all in the NFL. But he does everything else right. He plays a run strong. He still gets interceptions. This motherfucker, he's been above average. He's been one of them guys that you should keep. And I'm telling you right now, if he fucking takes one step into free agency, he's gone. He's gone because the value is there. And to me, it's like when you have guys like that, you don't have to give him fucking the biggest money. Lock him in. To me, you need to lock him in because he's here with Graham, the same coach, and he's been our best linebacker since he's been here. And you
But
just
this
add
is
to
a
that
very
linebacker
good
group.
linebacker free agency, though. Like, there's some good linebackers in this free agency this year that are way better than Robert Spillane, that we could, and younger than Robert Spillane, that we could
Such
we could
as?
justify letting them go.
Such
But
as.
say he wants $10 million, are
Right.
you willing to pay Robert Spillane $10 million?
Well, what's the going rate for linebackers right now? I don't
That's
really
what
know
I'm
what
saying.
linebacker. Yeah, I don't know what linebackers is making right now, to be real with you. What's the top linebacker making right now?
I don't know what the top line. I'd have to look it up, but I mean,
Let me look it up right now.
and then somebody's asking me, which of the free agents do you think the Raiders front office brings back? Like, which one of our top Raiders free agents would you want to see back?
To me, it's just Spillane. To me, I don't want to see Merrick. I see you in the streets because he's been He's been okay, but we talking impact. We're gonna pay him for being okay. No, see you in the fucking streets. You can get better at that position. Are we gonna pay? It's, to me, it's really only Spillane, maybe a couple other guys. Like I'm not paying Nate. I'm not paying none of these other guys. They haven't been impact players, man. Like you said, we fall in love with these players and we don't even give a fuck if they're good. Like, nah, it's most of these free agents, we can let them get the fuck on.
Yeah, I don't think there's one that the Raiders are sitting there going, we need to bring him back. Like if we lose him, we're okay. We're going to be hurting. Like I don't think there's any right now. I don't think there's any free agent that they're sitting there doing that they can't replace. And that's why I'm saying that's why they're not in a hurry to sign some of these guys, because they feel that they can get equal to, if not better, on the free agent market. And yeah, Trayvon is a great safety, but there's better safeties on the market, and there's been question marks about him on some of the plays, and that's you know,
Mm,
yes, our defense was good,
damn.
and our defense has been good, but how much are we going to pay these guys? Is and
Ah,
we don't want to compete with ourselves. Like I said,
yeah.
I like Bolton. I like there's some other linebackers on the market that I'm trying to think of off the top of my head, but Nick Bolton, Dre Greenlaw, somebody that they could bring in.
Fresh off that
I-
injury. I like Greenlaw, but he's off that ACL. I don't know. I mean, I think, but the way he came
this
back
will
to,
be his second year, right, off the
he gonna be,
ACL.
yeah. I think he's gonna come back himself. But it's off an injury. You know what I mean? Like when I look and I'm looking at like Roquan Smith making 20 million a year right now. You think Spillane can ask for that? No. This is an affordable guy that you can get, man. You know what I mean? You can get Spillane for an affordable price, and he's only 29 years old. He plays the run well. He's been our best linebacker in years, and and he's a good leader of the defense. Him and Max in the front leader, he's the mid leader, and we just got to find a leader for the backside because Trayvon Merrick, I thought he was going to be great coming from TCU. He has not been great. He has not been great, and I wouldn't bring him back. I'm not paying him anything any other team wants to pay him. I'm letting him go to the market, get the fuck on because I like Holland, I like fucking Simmons. It's guys, you know what I mean? It's guys way better safeties than what we have out there. But when you talk about linebackers, like you said, you got Bolton and who else?
There's one guy on the market that I think is a sneaky good linebacker that I don't know if people are talking about him, but Sherwood from the Jets, 25 years old, was probably the MVP of the Jets defense last year. If they could sneak it and get him in, I don't know what. I haven't heard a lot of talk about him this offseason, but uh, I would think that he would be a great linebacker to pick up. Bobby Wagner, somebody already said, but Bobby Wagner signed his extension already. He already signed,
Oh,
re-signed
did
back
he?
with
He
the
signed?
Washington.
Okay. Right. So I love Bobby Wagner, but is he gonna be moving as quick as Spillane? And can he move as quick as he used to? No. Give me the 29-year-old man. That's what I'm saying. Spillane 29 to me, this is really a no-brainer. It's really, I mean, because you don't have to give him 20 million a year. You know what I mean? Then you can, if you can get your hands on the Nick Bolton, I mean, but he's gonna have everyone's gonna want him. You know what I mean? Everyone's gonna want him. Our chances of him getting is slim to none. So to me, if you're taking a risk by letting Spillane hit the market, because you got teams like Chicago, you got teams. I see him fitting in a lot of good schemes, and we can't let our good guys go, man. Like I look at the rest of the free agents, I really don't give a fuck about them. But to me, the number one guy you got to bring back is you got to bring back Spillane, bro. He been doing
Yeah,
his thing as a linebacker. We've been so bad at that position. Except we was good, and we and Josh McFucking Puzzles let him go back to the fucking Los Angeles San Diego Clipper Chargers. You know what I'm talking about. He was a
Denzel
linebacker for us,
Perryman.
Perriman, and
Yeah,
Perriman's still doing his thing in on that team. Like
yeah. I
he was
never
he
understood
was our
why the
best
Raiders
one.
let Perryman go.
Yeah, I didn't understand why you let him go. Rasul Douglas. I mean, it can go. The list goes on and on and on. And this is all Josh McDaniels watch. So, but that's why I don't want to let Spillane walk out the door. To me, you got to go ahead and bring him back, man. He's 29. He's not gonna ask you for fucking 20 million. But if he hits that market, I'm telling you, he's out of here.
But yeah, yeah. There's if you're looking at free agents, like if you want to continue to build the defense, this is a good free agency to do it with.
Right. I mean, we just happen to have the second amount of the most money. That's what I'm saying. Like, I, I'm unforgiving, man. I'm fucking unforgiving. Like, I give motherfuckers a benefit of the doubt until you fuck it up. Like I gave Telesco the benefit of the doubt, even though I didn't understand why we hired him after he just got fucking fired. But when you
Yeah,
don't do anything in free agency, bro, I'm holding you to that fire. Now, Spytech, you got all the bread. You got all the fucking money. If he don't fucking hit this shit out the park, I'll be on this fucking ass too. I don't give a fuck. We got the money and we got the guys. Go fucking get them.
Yeah.
Go fucking get them. And don't let them go to another team over a million and a half. You know what I mean? If you're serious about winning, use this money. You just signed Max. We're just gonna just give him all this money just to fucking continue doing the same thing. Build the team the right way, and it doesn't have to take 5 years. No one even thought about the Washington fucking Commanders last year. No one did. No one thought they were any fucking thing. That's why I know they was willing to fucking trade that pick and trade back, but Telesco never fucking called. And then what they do, they fucking balled out because a quarterback makes that big of a difference. Now, Geno, is he gonna make that kind of difference? I seriously doubt that, but you can turn a team around in 1 year.
No,
And they
yeah,
got the number two.
you could definitely turn a team around in 1 year, but you got to remember what division we're in. We're in one of the toughest divisions too, but we can hang in there, and we're going to be playing a last place schedule next year, which makes it a little bit easier. And with one of the, and that's what I think. That's what I love about this offseason about Pete Carroll coming in here is that now we're going to be able to hang in some of these games. We're not going to get out coached every game. It's going to be a pretty damn solid game.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. People was calling it getting out coached. To me, it was like we shouldn't have been in those games anyway. When I'm looking at teams with that, people say Antonio Pierce got out coached. We played against real teams with real starters.
Yeah, but
Like,
you can't use the excuse that you're not supposed to be in those games. You are in those games, and you
yeah,
are.
but you're in those games because of the coaching.
If you're not
You're in the
supposed
game.
to be in the game and it's somehow 14-13 and you make a bad coaching position, your team
No,
was
that's on you.
that's on
No, no,
you.
yeah, that's definitely on you too. That's on you too. But I also got to give them credit for even getting them to even play to the level they played at. Because these
Yeah.
teams, we weren't even supposed to be competitive, man. What with them players we had, all the starters out, we weren't supposed to be competitive. That was a great coaching job in itself. But it's about the only difference between Carroll and AP this year in the offseason is they're not gonna play with him. They played with Antonio Pierce. They fucking actually sold Antonio Pierce out because the whole offseason, what'd you see? Low lows, Raider Nation. It's a game. You know what I mean? Oh man, we can't wait for the season. And they sold that to us and didn't let him put a finger on the team. You know what I mean? And they're not.
Yeah.
They're
No,
they're
I'll
obviously
agree.
not going
I'll
to do
agree
that.
with that. I'll agree with that. What they like I
Yeah.
said, that's why I like when people still bring up the Brock Bowers the way I celebrated the Brock Bowers pick because when you were watching the offseason, or you were watching and listening to Antonio Pierce all offseason, Brock Bowers didn't fit Antonio Pierce in what he was talking about.
Right.
Antonio Pierce wanted a smash mouth football team, and then you go out there and you get a finesse a tight end, which you're like, what are we doing? When every single defensive player was still on the board. And you can
Everyone.
say, yes, Brock Bowers is a great player. And Brock Bowers was probably the rookie of the year if it wasn't for Jaden Daniels. But did it hurt the Raiders? Yes, it did hurt us. It took
That's
us
the
back a
facts.
little bit because it wasn't what our head coach was putting out there. And we went back a little bit. So, yeah, we have a great tight end. And that's what I tell people. We have an elite tight end now, but we won 4 games. Congratulations that we have an elite tight end on a 4-win team.
Exactly. Exactly. When all the fucking GM had to do was his due diligence. Like I said, like I seen who Jaden Daniels was gonna be. AP seen who Jaden Daniels was gonna be. You have to just fucking swing. You have
Yeah.
to fucking swing when you're the Raiders. We've been fucking just taking balls and taking fucking striking out looking for years. You have to fucking swing. And And that's what happens. I love Brock Bowers. People like they want to be like you hated Brock Bowers. I never hated Brock Bowers. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? It just when you it's a quarterbacks league. It's a quarterbacks league, and if you don't fucking get your quarterback, it doesn't matter. The rest of the pieces do not matter. I don't give a fuck unless you got Kyle Shanahan, who I still think is one of the greatest coaches in the NFL because he actually had people thinking Jimmy G was fucking good. That scheme is top notch. You can throw fucking Minshew back there and win a few games in San Francisco. Real shit. But overall, you have to have a QB. It's no way around it. Look at every QB in the Super Bowl have been at least top 10. Motherfuckers talk about Purdy, but he was top 10 when he went to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, but it's that scheme as well. But it's a QB league, and if we're gonna win, we're gonna have to swing the fucking bat and do what we need to do. And I don't want to hear no excuses for Spy Tech. I don't want to hear nothing because y'all already know. If he come out here, he swing and miss and do some bullshit, I'm gonna be on his ass. Pause.
I was gonna say, what? What's up, Raider Lopez? How you doing? He's subscribed to both of us, so I appreciate that. Thank you, Raider
I
Lopez.
appreciate you, my guy. Nice job, Jim. Hey, appreciate you, Rob.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
quite a few in here, man. It's quite a few in here that I haven't got to yet. Taking the Rams.
Well, that's good because I'm running out of time. I gotta get going pretty soon.
Yeah, I was over here trying to get ready for this here Laker game. You know what I'm saying? Lakers and the Boston Celtics. My guy Luka the Don and LeBron James, the ageless one. You know what I mean? Looking forward to that game. See what we got cracking off, man. But glad you came on. Fuck with your boy. It's
Oh
been a
yeah.
minute. It's been a minute, man, and you already know, man. I like to pick your brain. I like to see where you be at. You already know where I'll be at. I'd be fucking losing it. I just be fucking losing it, man. I'd be in the house losing it without even being on video. I just be fucking losing it sometimes. But yeah,
Hey,
appreciate you, man.
Raider Summer Kickoff in Bakersfield, June 7th. Last year, huge event. I think we had over 1,000 people. You were there. I was there. A lot of people were there. So June 7th, they're going to have it there. Some big names should be there. I have the rumor name that I hear that's going to be signing this year is a good one. I don't want to throw it out there until it's confirmed, but start looking for that. June 7th, Raider Summer Kickoff in Bakersfield, California. It's always a good one, man.
Right there, what's that? The Bakersfield Fairgrounds.
I don't know if he's going back to the fairgrounds. I hope he does because it was AC, and I don't like. I'm a big dude, man. I don't like sweating. So
Yeah. You a big motherfucker. I didn't know you was that big. How tall are you?
what am I? 6'3"? 6'3"?
Yeah. You a big motherfucker, man. I was like, damn, big as fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool though.
The videos don't do me justice. You know what I mean? It makes it look like I'm sitting down and doing all that.
Yeah, you big as fuck, man. But yeah, man, it's appreciate you coming on, man. And we need to do this a little bit more often, man, because people need to hear two different fucking perspectives and shit. You know what I mean? Even though we on the same thing. And this is my fucking guy right here.
There he is. Hell yeah, he is.
It's my fucking guy right here, my guy Chris. And he already knows. It's one thing I'm gonna do in this motherfucker. I might be a sportsman. This might be Raider Gang TV. But one thing I'm gonna do, Raider Nation, is protect that motherfucking shield with a fucking AR-15. I'm protecting that shit. Riding and dying, man. But yo, check it. We're gonna go ahead and check out, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe for your boy, man. I appreciate y'all tapping in and shit. And go follow Joel. If you ain't following Joel on fucking all the platforms, I'm pretty sure you are though. His shit is fucking blasting up. I'm like, fuck, I should have been on in the pandemic. I was doing totally different shit in the pandemic. But shit, yeah. Yeah. I should have started there, man. I'm trying to catch up. But yeah, man, follow him on all the platforms, man. He got some good Raider content and shit, man. And you already know, man. Whether we agree on things or don't agree on things, it's Raider motherfucking Nation, no matter what.
Gotcha.
And we out this bitch, man. Till next time around, man. Salute you, my
Right.
G.
Raiders.
Raider fucking Nation, bitches. We out, y'all. One.